Good afternoon. It's just after midday on Saturday the 13th of April, and here I am at a place called Warsash, which is a place I've never heard of before, and had I not done the Coastal Path walk, I doubt if I would ever have heard of it or known of it or anything. But it's quite a remarkable place actually. I'm just looking across the River Hamble at Hamble the Rice, where I stayed last night, where I finished the walk, and I also went down there this morning and had a look at the harbour in search of the ferry that would bring me across. But I was told it's not quite the season yet and the timetable's a bit erratic. And just a few moments ago I actually saw the ferry with the wheels on, which reminds me of one that I saw when I was walking up to Carmarthen. Can't remember the name of the place now, but never mind. So my morning started in quite a strange way actually. I didn't wake up until 7 o'clock, which is very late for me, but on saying that, I was editing until nearly midnight last night and put in day 364 and 365 on, which is something that I particularly wanted to do, especially after such a fantastic response from everybody yesterday on Facebook. Excuse me. I got, I don't know, about 50 messages. It's going to take me an awful long time to catch up with that, I'm afraid, so please don't be disappointed if you don't hear from me for a few days. I got quite inundated, but it was an absolutely wonderful feeling to know that all you people are thinking of me and wishing me good luck. And yesterday being 1 year, it was certainly an occasion for me. I spoke with my wife last night, Trish, and she's fine. We're getting on very well, we're talking. Things aren't going to change though, it's going to be very much the same for obvious reasons. There's nothing we can talk about, and she's looking after her dad in the way that she's fantastic, and he's doing okay. He's slowing down now quite a lot, but you know, you understand the situation. It's difficult for me to say any more than that. So I woke up at 7:30 this morning, and I was into the square here across at Hamble. Went for a breakfast, and even though it was a very, very nice breakfast, quite expensive to be honest, I was getting a bit angry that I had to wait nearly 3/4 of an hour for it, and I had to keep reminding them that I don't understand how they run a business. There's 4 women all working flat out and there was hardly any customers, and it took 3/4 of an hour for my breakfast to come. So I won't be going there again. So from there, then I had to drive to Gosport, which was about a 40-minute drive, and I managed to find a good parking place right next to Halford's. Spoke to a chap who was quite happy, and it was only a couple of 100 yards away from the ferry, which I'll be catching across to Portsmouth later on when I finish the walk. And the van is safe, in good hands, and it's fine. And it was also just around the corner from the bus terminus, where I got on the X5 bus, which brought me here all the way via Fareham to get to here, and it was a 1 hour 40-minute journey to do that 10 miles. And I think the reason for that was it more or less went through every housing estate in Hampshire. I've never been on such a around the houses kind of run, and the other effect it had was a 1 hour 40 bus ride. I was nodding off, and I had to sort of bring myself around a little bit. But anyway, I'm here now, ready to rock. And the one thing I've noticed actually here in Hampshire, there's absolutely no signs for the coast path, none whatsoever. It's not like, you know, anything I've been used to. Certainly the southwest coastal path, there were lots and lots of signs, but since I've come off that, there's been nothing to tell you where you're going or anything. I mean, I've got my iPhone with my map. I don't really need to directions by posts and things really, but nevertheless sometimes when you're in a place like this it's quite nice to catch your eye with some kind of general direction of where you're going, even though I know I just turn this corner and I'm on my way. I reckon it's going to be probably 10-12 mile walk, which is going to be somewhere between 4 and 5 hours. It's midday now, I've got plenty of time, so I reckon I'm going to be there for 5ish, given that I might be stopping talking to people, and also I'm going to need some more tea. I've already had 2 lots this morning, but it certainly works for me. So, with that in mind, here we go. Well, I only left Warsash a few minutes ago and I've met these people, and it's Ria and Luke. And Ria, can I start with you first? We've just been having a little bit of a chat, and we were talking about the coastal path itself, and that you've actually got an interest in that. Could you tell me about that?
Yes, I'm actually a footpath ranger for Access, and I look after the footpaths and bridleways across South Hampshire.
Yes.
And the Solent Way, which is the section you're walking at the moment, is one of our projects as well.
Oh, that's very interesting. So this, how far does this piece of path that you look after? Is it like from here to Gosport? Is it or further?
Yeah, so that's the south. Yeah, it goes from the Solent Way goes from kind of Lymington all the way to Portsmouth.
Yes.
And so that's like that section here, and I look after the section from the forest right up until kind of Gosport, sort of Havant sort of way.
Right, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
So how much commitment does that ask of you then? Do you need to put a bit of time into it, or
for the footpaths? Yeah, I mean it's a full-time job for the Hampshire County Council. It's the Countryside Service.
Right.
And yeah, we look after the footpaths and bridleways and all the waymarking, and work with ramblers and different groups to kind of keep them accessible so that people can do walks like you're doing.
Excellent. I mean, and obviously you've got your binoculars there.
Yeah, I'm a big birder.
Is it twitcher the right word, or is that a wrong word?
No, twitcher's fine.
I mean, a lot of people refer to twitchers, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know enough to be a proper twitcher, but I've got a big interest in birds.
Right. And what about you, Luke? Are you an avid sort of?
No, I'm pretty much a tourist. I mean, Ria's a friend of mine, and she's obviously quite invested in this and has got quite a wide knowledge of it. And
yes, I
sort of thought, you know what, I'd like to see a bit of bird watching. It's something that I've always thought sounded a bit odd on the face of it, but you know, I've got an interest in nature, and then it's actually very interesting. So I'm being sort of shown the sights, so to speak. Yeah,
it's his first day out.
I haven't got an idea.
Oh right, this is your first day out. Well, that's interesting. Oh well, I hope you enjoy it. I mean, you know, at least it gets you out in the fresh air, and it gets you some exercise, and it gets you on the coastal path, and
Ria's a perfect person to sort of have knowledge of these areas is second to none, really. So. Yeah. Perfect person.
Well done, Paul. I hope you enjoy. You know, this being your first day together doing this. I hope you have many happy days.
Oh, thanks.
It's been a real pleasure meeting you, and I know we've just had a little bit of a chat, and I've given you a card now.
Yes,
and
we'll definitely keep an eye on what you're up to. It's
Thank you very much
project.
indeed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool.
See you on. Bye now. Bye. Right, well, here I am at Hook, and I've met these people. Your name, sir, is?
I'm Robert.
Robert.
Caroline.
And Caroline, and we've just been having a quick chat, and you was telling me, Robert, that you're just about to sort of embark on walking as a way of keeping fit.
This is like, I've got to lose some weight,
yeah,
and it's a good sort of gentle way of doing it.
Yes, absolutely.
And we're planning on sort of building up from here, so start off with a few 5 milers and then go up to 10 mile.
Yes.
But the intention is eventually to do the Camino.
Really, that's a very unusual objective, something abroad like that. I mean, are you familiar with the area and stuff like that?
Well, we've just been watching YouTube
it's
vlogs.
we've been watching vlogs.
You've been watching vlogs. Well, that's interesting. Well, that's a good way of doing it, actually. I mean, I know some of them are really good and some of them are not so good, but nevertheless, you do get a lot of information. It depends what you're looking for.
Absolutely, yeah. It's because it's sort of all planned for you.
Yes,
so
absolutely, yes.
All the accommodation is there along the way.
Yes.
But it's literally getting up to that 10, 15 mile a day
yes, absolutely.
Distance. So it's going to take a while.
Yes. Well, I mean, if I sound as if if I can recommend a lot of my vlogs, give you every day that I've done for the last 209 days.
Well, we've got your card, so we're going to give you a watch.
And they're all around about sort of 10, 15 miles. Yesterday, it was my 1 year since I actually started the walk. And I've done 209 days, an average of 14.3 miles a day.
Right, okay.
And so, that's a good thing to aim at. I mean,
absolutely. Well, you can't really get a better country, really. So that
it's amazing.
The walking in Britain is
Where did you start
probably
from?
second to none.
Yes, I started off on the east coast at Grimsby and walked.
Okay, yeah.
I'm doing it anti-clockwise. I walked up the coast to the Scottish border and had to make a decision whether I was going to do Scotland there and then, but I didn't, and I went across to Carlisle instead, and I've walked all the way down to Land's End and all the southwest coastal path. Got to Poole, Bournemouth, and now I'll be in Portsmouth by the end of today.
Yeah,
and it's gone extremely well, and I've loved it. And just to say,
because we've been round Pembrokeshire, we've walked along the coast there, and
it's
that's
fabulous,
amazing.
Yeah. And I'm really pleased to hear that you're going to get yourselves out there, because I lost a lot of weight. I've lost 2 stone since I started this. I'm wearing size 30 waist jeans now. It's the first time I've done that since I was about 14, I think. But have you considered getting a Fitbit? One of these?
I've got one.
You've got one.
You do. I'm probably I've got more to lose than just that. So
yes.
I'm just going to get stuck in and.
Well, all I'm saying that for is it's a really good motivator. Because if you set out to do, as an example, 10,000 steps a day, which is like 5 miles, or if on a walk you want to do like 15 miles, if you use it properly and put your food calorie in, and it will tell you how many calories you've burned off.
Yeah.
And you can watch your weight going down, and you can monitor it all, and your iPhone does all the writing down. You don't need to write anything down. It tells you all your
I suppose it's good
patterns.
for keeping a log things.
It is,
but I thought I'd just
for 150
get myself committed to it.
Yeah. It's a great motivator, and the weight will drop off you because you'll suddenly realise that this is great, and you feel so much better. Honestly, you really do.
Well, I just feel a lot better just coming out today.
Yes.
Okay, it's a little bit cold, but
yes, it is.
So you wrap up warm,
Yeah,
off you go.
Yeah.
As long as you've got some good shoes and.
Yep, that's right.
And the necessary waterproof stuff.
So where are you heading now? Are you up down to what?
We're going round all the way down to Holly Hill Park.
Oh right, okay.
So we're going to go up round there through the park and then back on towards home.
Right.
So about 8 miles or so.
Well, that's perfect. That's perfect.
We're doing another walk tomorrow in Arundel, aren't we?
Yes.
Right. In where? Sorry.
Arundel, Swan
Right,
Lake.
Arundel. Right. Wow, that's brilliant. Well, it's been a pleasure meeting you.
And you as well.
And I hope we'll stay in touch. And you've got a card, have a look. And send me a message to say that you've had a look, and that'd be very nice.
Sure.
Lovely. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
It's 1:30 now, and I'm doing quite well. I've met a couple of very nice people already, which is very nice. I didn't expect to see anyone really, but it is the weekend when all said and done. This is when people come out. The weather's a bit disappointing. There's a very strong headwind when I'm walking along the front, and now I've doing a slight diversion around a power station. It's all marked out on the map and everything, and it's a bit more sheltered here, and it's about 5 degrees warmer. It's unbelievable. But I do notice that the sky is breaking up a bit now. It was looking a bit cloudy, almost looked as if it was going to rain, but it seems to have settled down now, and there's blue sky, and I can see over in the far distance that the sun is shining, so that's encouraging. But it might be back to the same again when I get onto the coast again. This is only probably a couple of miles detour, so it shouldn't take me too long. Feeling good today, feeling very happy. I'm really looking forward to staying with my friends in Portsmouth for the weekend, Malcolm and his wife, and I'm sorry I can't remember her name at this exact moment in time. And when I get back again to the Portsmouth ferry, I'll give them a ring, and we'll make a decision as to whether I'm going to go over tonight or tomorrow. But I know they've mentioned that there's some nice little pubs around them, and one or two that specialise in doing really good fish and chips. Well, I couldn't think of anything nicer than getting tucked into a nice big large haddock. Fantastic. So I'm going to press on, and I'll speak to you later. 4:30 now, and the weather has changed and frightened everybody away. I think it was quite busy along here. It's one hell of a long promenade this is. I must have been on it for a couple of hours now, but it's easy walking, it's easy miles, but it's really chilled off, and there's a big black cloud came over and the temperature dropped. It was maybe only 3 or 4 degrees with a really biting wind, which is why I've got all my hood up and everything, because it's really cold and I'm walking directly into the wind, which I reckon must be 10-12 miles an hour easterly, and it's not very pleasant. But I'm not that far off now. I reckon another hour will do it, and it's been great. I've enjoyed it. It's been a good walk. Nothing great deal to see, and I can't, as I said many times before, I can't produce a brilliant video out of, you know, nothing to see really. But it's just more miles done, and hopefully I'll have something interesting to show you this evening when I go out for a night out in Portsmouth. Good morning. Here I am in Gosport, actually sat in the bus station, which is completely deserted, and it's right alongside the ferry across to Portsmouth, which I've just been there and back. It took me minutes to do both journeys, but I did get some nice video out that I was delighted with. One thing that was noticeable on the ferry is salt all over the decking, because it was so cold last night. There was ice on the decks. Talking to one of the guys on the boat who works on the boat, he said there was a delay because they couldn't let people on because it was so slippery because of the ice. Now that's interesting. In April, and that's what happened to me yesterday, walking along all the way into Gosport. It was a freezing cold headwind of around about 10 or 12 miles an hour, and by the time I reached Gosport I was absolutely exhausted with it. Now, I had arranged to go and see my friend Malcolm last night, but I called him around about 6 o'clock when I was 4 o'clock when I was on the walk, and to say let's leave it until tomorrow, because I knew it wouldn't take me until about 6 o'clock to actually get in to Gosport, because it was such a long walk with a very, very strong headwind. But I made it. I was absolutely exhausted, to be honest with you. It was a really hard walk, even though it looked like bright and sunny. It was far from that. It was like really cold, and I'm glad I got myself dressed up. Gloves and everything. The other bad thing that happened to me yesterday is that I lost my sunglasses, which are special sunglasses that fit over these glasses, and so I've got to try and find a pair as soon as I can, because when you think about it, I'm walking east until I reach Dover, so I'm definitely going to need more sunglasses. So the plan now is, I've just been on the ferry. I've been editing this morning, even though I went to bed at exactly 8 o'clock last night, and I didn't wake up until 7 this morning. So that's a good sleep. That's exactly what I needed. I was really tired and cold. And so my plan now that I've been on the ferry is, I've told Malcolm that I'm coming over around somewhere between 11 and 12. I've got to drive round to Portsmouth. And instead of going for a meal as we were planning to go last night for a nice big fish and chips, we're going to go for a Sunday lunch instead, and that might even be a fish and chips, and I hope so. So from there, from Portsmouth, I'm having a day off today actually, and I'll set off again tomorrow from the other side of the ferry where you've just seen me going across there, and I'll be walking easterly. And I would imagine I'll be going somewhere towards like Hailing Island, and then it's a little bit complicated from there. There's all sorts of areas I need to look at which are not actually on the Ordnance Survey. We do run out of little red dots which indicate the path, so I'm going to have to make one up for myself, and so that's quite easy. I can do that, and I'm going to be heading like towards Chichester, Worthing and Brighton, and with a bit of luck I should be in Brighton by next weekend. So the marching band that I just got a shot of earlier, I don't know what the occasion is today. I don't know, I'll be honest with you, I've got no idea what the occasion is, but there's marching bands and there's lots of sort of pensioner guys dressed up in uniform, obviously naval officers and seamen and stuff. So it's something maybe a local, unless there's something I don't know. So I'm going to go back to the van now, drive over to Portsmouth, and I'll see you in the next instalment, whenever that will be.